This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1, and this is the Monday Drive-a-thon. Field McConnell is still in jail. Timothy Charles Holmseth is still sightseeing. Not much going on in the conspiracy theory front, just a bunch of babble from Randy and absolutely nothing from Timothy Holmseth. And I got myself a death wish today. Some individual put up a thing that says I'm in the age bracket to get the coronavirus and they're going to celebrate when I get it. It's, I suppose amounts to a death wish, but typical amongst this group. Don't know who the person is. There's no followers. Not following anybody. Now, today is supposed to be the day we find out about all the restrictions that are going to be imposed on Field McConnell. Now, indications have come out through Margaritaville that Field McConnell is going to have all access cut off from the internet. Agent Margaritaville indicated that all of Field McConnell's social media accounts are going to be removed forthwith. It's just a matter of time. So far, the field report is still online, and most other of his internet accounts are online. These are eventually going to be taken down, according to Agent Margaritaville. Now, there are going to be severe restrictions for Field McConnell once the court documents come out. I will go over these in detail, but I can guarantee you that based on information I've been able to find out through a lot of quite a number of sources, is that Field McConnell is going to be in for an absolutely miserable experience. That things came out in the course of the hearing Friday that caused the judge to impose these unusually severe restrictions. And until everything comes out and is published, I really can't comment on it. Now, in other news, there really hasn't been much from anyone about this stuff. Randy Erickson put up something about habeas corpus and stuff like that, where she seems to think she has some argument, which she does not. So there's nothing out of her. Absolutely nothing out of Timothy since yesterday. Now, that may change by the time I get to the airport. And Donald Trump is in town. Probably going to run into a situation at the airport, because usually when he shows up, it screws up departure times and everything on the aircraft there. So I'm going to have to check when I get there to see if I'm going to be able to get off the ground. Probably will. I've never run into problems before, but we'll see. And no, I don't expect to run into Donald Trump. I'm caught a little bit of what he's supposed to be doing here, but I'm not going to be hanging around to find out, because I got places to go, people to see, and things to do, and all that. So, kind of a cloudy day today. It'll, it's just going to affect what I'm doing a little bit, but it's somewhat cloudy, warm, all that. So, any of you guys buried in snow up there, I really feel for you. And there's all this talk about the coronavirus and how it's getting worse. The stock market took a really big hit. Glad I don't have any stocks. Because the stock market took a huge hit. And it's still bad. So this is going to be a weird summer when it comes to economics. And, we're heading for a recession. Whether anybody likes it or not, that's just the way it is. This virus is going to screw things up. the Middle East and Vladimir Putin are having something of a pissing match, so the oil prices are going to plunge. So anybody that owns one of those great big pickup trucks like my F-250 that I don't drive anymore, you're going to be able to save a hell of a lot of money on gas. Here in Florida, I expect to see gas prices fall under $200 or $2 a gallon. $200 a gallon, yeah, $2 a gallon within the next few days, if not a couple of weeks, because the way they're slashing prices on oil, they're practically going to be giving it away. It would be funny if we saw $1 a gallon oil prices again. I haven't seen that since I don't know when. And it's been a long time since we've seen $2 a gallon gas here in Florida. That'd be something. Right now, we're running $2.12 a gallon. In most places, a couple pennies here and there. I've seen it as low as $2.09. The last time I checked Sam's Club, well, it was $2.06. And so Sam's Club is probably where we're going to see it drop to under $2 a gallon, because they're usually 6 to 10 cents below retail. They seem to maintain that level. So that'll be interesting. And it's coming just in time for the trial of Phil McConnell, which the countdown starts today. So as the official name goes for this segment today, it is the countdown to the trial of Phil McConnell. And I will be in Fort Lauderdale Thursday, May 6, 2020 at 9 o'clock in the morning to follow the case. Hopefully I can get credentialed by then. I've hit the magic number. I've hit 750 subscribers. That's pretty good milestone. That means that I might, if the pace keeps going, come pretty close to the 1,000 mile mark, or 1,000 subscriber mark, by the time the trial starts. So if you got anybody that's interested in the Phil McConnell case, or interested in watching on-location coverage of a true crime case in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, have them subscribe, because that's coming up. And again, the only reason I need the 1,000 people is so I can live stream from the court, that I can live tweet as the case progresses. If somebody says something, I can kind of dictate it to the best of my ability. It's going to be fun, trying to dictate on a smartphone, or I may take my tablet down there. But I cannot use the laptop in there because it makes too much noise, so the laptop's out. They allow cellular-enabled smartphones and tablets. And if the Wi-Fi is strong enough, I may use Wi-Fi so I can put the phone in airplane mode so the damn thing isn't ringing. I'll have to turn off Wi-Fi calling so that I don't get Wi-Fi calls. But we are at a point now where we understand just exactly what is going on with Phil McConnell and the case. Phil McConnell has literally gotten the book thrown at him in more ways than one. And based on the attitude of the judge and of things that I am aware of within the court, it doesn't look good for Phil McConnell. Phil McConnell should consider trying to plea bargain with the court. Phil McConnell should consider offering information that could prosecute other people. Because Phil McConnell is quickly running out of options. He's either going to have to plead no contest or pray that he gets a sympathetic jury, which is not going to happen. The odds of Phil McConnell getting convicted of the charge against him are quite high. There's never 100% certainty in these things, and there's always Casey Anthony to think about. But this is not a murder case yet. So we're not in a situation where we have to figure out what a cause of death is and to connect that cause of death with Casey Anthony. What we have is a mountain of evidence. We have witnesses that are going to confirm what was said. So the evidence is not going to be hearsay. We're going to have people testifying as to the actions of Phil McConnell in an extended period of time. There's going to be all kinds of emails introduced. And it basically is going to bury Phil McConnell under a mountain of evidence. Now, the one thing that will really bury Phil McConnell is if he testifies in his own defense. Under the Fifth Amendment, he does not have to, and I assure you that his lawyer is going to convince him not to. But Phil McConnell is stubborn enough that he just might testify in his own defense. And if he does that, the Fifth Amendment goes out the window. And then the prosecution can just have their way with him and really show people the kind of man Phil McConnell is. For if Phil McConnell really believes in his cause and so forth, he will waive his Fifth Amendment rights and go on the witness stand and testify. Give his side of the story. And that, my friends, is something to witness. That if Phil McConnell decides to testify on his own behalf, all hell's going to break loose. You know, the jury's going to sit there and say, what kind of an idiot is this guy? You know, that he feels he's justified to torment the woman in this way with this nonsense. And they'll convict him. They'll say, you know, we're going to, guilty. Probably be one of the fastest deliberations in the history of Florida. Is they'll go in there, sit down, pick a foreman. It's going to take longer for the jury to pick a foreman than it is to deliberate. So we'll see how that one goes. Now, it is likely that this is going to be a one-day trial. That Thursday is going to be it. That he will be tried on Thursday. And then I'm not sure if he will be sentenced the same day or if they will come back later on and do the sentencing. And I, of course, will be there for the sentencing. If he is adjudicated guilty, or he accepts a plea deal, or any of that, I will be there. And I will let everybody know the second they render a verdict. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We haven't gone to trial yet. Now, I don't know what's going to happen between now and May. There may be some other hearings that take place. Evidence hearings, all kinds of stuff. There's all kinds of little things that may happen between now and May. And anything that comes up, I will be there. So. But depending on how things go, I may start cutting back on the drive-a-thons because there really isn't much going on. Now, probably over the next day or two, I'll be going into discussing the severity of what Phil McConnell has been hit with. But other than that, I'm not sure what else I'm going to talk about beyond the Friday and Saturday murder-thons. So there's a good possibility that the murder-thons, or the mobile-thons, drive-a-thons, may be cut back. And only come into play if there is something to talk about. Now, I've said this before where I was going to cut back, and almost always something comes up that I can discuss for a half hour, 45 minutes. Now, again, there's nothing new in the Sarah Dunklin case. There's nothing new in the Cynthia Abzug case. And nothing else really is going on all that much. Dr. Good Vibes hasn't said a thing. Preacher Dan, I guess, is still doing his thing. E-Claws is doing their thing. And all the various investigations are ongoing. So we're kind of in a lull here as far as any activity. Now, the only other thing I might do is I might start talking about some of the current events that are going on, like the coronavirus and when Trump comes to town and stuff like that. Because although my channel is specifically for Phil McConnell, there's other things going on that might be worthy of discussion. We have a cruise ship off the coast of Florida. It's under quarantine, waiting to come in. We've had a couple deaths from the coronavirus here in Florida. Governor Scott, or former Governor Scott, I should say, has expressed concerns about what's going to happen to the tourism industry in Florida because of this virus. And as I mentioned before, the stock market basically has taken an extreme downward turn. And this doesn't look good, as things are going to get worse as this virus gets worse. You know, we're looking at seeing an economic downturn sometime in June or July, which is going to be right before the elections. And this does not look good for anyone coming into that, because now people are going to have to wonder what in the hell is going to happen as far as dealing with this virus. And it's a bad one. We've got all the people out there running around saying, oh, this is fake news, this is this, this is that. And no, it's not fake news, it's science. We have a very, very bad pandemic about to form. And, you know, people are going to have to wake up and park these damn conspiracy theories and start using common sense, because it's quite literally your life at stake and those of your loved ones. You know, people my age that are at the highest risk of this thing. You know, it's like I said earlier in my video, there's a guy out there that actually wants me to get this stupid virus and that he would celebrate, or she. You know, and this is the kind of mentality we're dealing with out there. You know, and this is no man-made virus or anything like that. It's, you know, it's biology. It's, you know, the way things are. We are a biological species, and viruses do affect us. And this is a mean one. It's a mutated virus. And it's going to kill a lot of people before it's over. A good lot of people. You know, that's why they call it a pandemic. We had one of these things in 1918, and it killed a shitload of people. We have better science now, but, you know, science isn't perfect. We saw what happened to Columbia and Challenger and the Titanic and other disasters, and we're going to see it here. You cannot be overconfident. But the nice thing about this virus, as with all things, as long as you practice good personal hygiene and some sensible precautions, you may wind up not getting this thing. You know, that's at least a shot at not getting the damn thing. So use sensible precautions. You know, wash your hands frequently. Try not to touch your face. If you have to sneeze or cough, do it into your elbow, or if you have a handkerchief, use that. And so on. But don't get into these God-blasted conspiracy theories, because this is too damn important to be relying on nonsense like that. Now, to close things out a little bit here, you know, I would suggest that those people that support Field McConnell take a long, hard look at what's happening to him. Now, I know there's people out there criticizing me for the kind of soft approach I'm taking when it comes to Field McConnell, because they have said that Field McConnell was evil and should have been thrown into jail even before Tim Holmseth came into the picture. And I agree with that. But sometimes you have to look at reality a little bit. Before Tim Holmseth came into the picture, Field McConnell was less likely to suffer any severe ramifications of his actions than he is now. Because most people were looking at him as a senile old goat that had these weird theories and that he would lash out. Now, it is true that some facts have come out lately because of this case where Field McConnell probably would have eventually wound up in the slammer. You know, remember, there is the rumor that Field McConnell shot at somebody in a car, a woman. So he does have a violent streak. And that's probably one of the reasons the court came down so hard on him with all the restrictions that are out there. So, but when Tim Holmseth met Field McConnell and got it into his head that he had to attack Kim Picasio the way he did, he put the process of getting Field McConnell in jail into overdrive. Because he had to be dealt with. His crimes were so severe that something had to be done. You just could not let things go. And so Field McConnell wound up in prison, wound up in jail. Field McConnell's gonna go to trial for what he did. So, if you're gonna blame anybody for Field McConnell being in jail, don't blame Kim, don't blame her so-called army or anyone else. You blame Timothy Charles Holmseth. Timothy Charles Holmseth pushed Field McConnell into the position he's in now. Timothy Charles Holmseth encouraged Field McConnell to take the position he took. Timothy Charles Holmseth handed over all those books to Field McConnell, offered to sign those books so that everybody could make a lot of money. More than the $60,000 a year that it was reported that Field McConnell is being paid from the Children's Crusade in a video that came out today. Timothy Charles Holmseth is the catalyst. And if people don't start to understand that and understand why Field McConnell is in the position that he's in, then, you people really don't believe in Field McConnell. There's no plot to kidnap Field McConnell, to put him away, or any of that. That's all things that were made up by Tim Holmseth. Field McConnell was going in an entirely different direction. Field McConnell was concentrating on the Children's Crusade, and he was concentrating on finding property for veterans and their families. That was his direction. His Pentagon Pedophile Task Force, Kim Picazio, and all these other things were not on Field McConnell's radar. Not even close. Field McConnell never heard of Kim Picazio until Tim Holmseth came in the picture. Think about that. When you're in private, driving to work, just relaxing, maybe having a smoke on the patio or whatever. Think about that. Think about how the association between Tim Holmseth and Field McConnell have influenced what has happened. And understand that if it had not been for Tim Holmseth, Field McConnell would be a free man right now. Because he was not on the road to being prosecuted or put in jail. That was a long way off. Field McConnell probably could have gotten away with not getting arrested or being in jail for another 2 or 3 years. He might have been able to get out of the country and enjoy the rest of his life with Denise had he not met Timothy Holmseth. Timothy Holmseth put a bullseye on the back of Field McConnell. If Field McConnell dies in prison because he catches the coronavirus or some other disease or something else happens, that's going to be on Tim Holmseth and the people that believe in Tim Holmseth. They were the ones that put Field McConnell in this position. So all this talk that Timothy Holmseth is giving about Field McConnell not deserving to be in prison and so forth is actually probably true, because he's in prison because of Tim Holmseth. He's in prison because he listened to Tim Holmseth. Yes, Field McConnell bears responsibility for his actions. Timothy Holmseth can't be used as an excuse. It can be used as a cause, but not an excuse. Field McConnell was going down this road. He was attacking his sister. He was attacking women in general. And when Kim Picazio came along, and Tim's story about his stalking of Kim Picazio came out, this is a golden opportunity for Field McConnell, and he seized upon it, like Tim and others knew he would. Field McConnell is a senile old man. He's a bitter old man. He's had a lot of bad luck over the last decade, and he's blaming a lot of people for his problems. And he's lashing out. Tim Holmseth gave him something to lash out about. And so the death threats came, the aggravating stalking came, and now Field McConnell is in jail for it. And Field McConnell is basically being punished before he even goes on trial. At this point, I think his attorney that his son hired is probably wondering how come he even took this case. He's going to do the best he can. He's an employee of Phil McConnell's son, and by default, Phil McConnell. So he's going to do his best to represent him, but he probably doesn't like it. And he's probably going to tell Phil McConnell that you're going to abide by my advice, and this is what you're going to do. And the attorney's going to be tough on him. And now that Phil McConnell's isolated away from these group of nitwits, they're going to be able to deprogram him and talk some common sense into him. But Phil McConnell is going to go to jail. It's my firm belief that Phil McConnell is going to get convicted and he's going to get the book thrown at him. But at the very least, he's off the internet. The field report is in 2 weeks now since anything has been posted on YouTube. I haven't seen any new comments on there. So, it is most likely that the field report is gone. Eventually, it's going to be removed from YouTube once the court order is sent to YouTube. He's not going to have an email account. He's not going to have anything. And by the time he gets out of prison, if he doesn't die in prison, he's going to deteriorate to the point where it's not going to matter anyway. And we will have moved on. All of us will have moved on. It'll be 3, 4, 5 years from now, and Phil McConnell will be a distant memory. It'll be a thing where it comes out that Phil McConnell is released from jail. Who the hell's Phil McConnell? Oh yeah, he's that guy I talked about 5 years ago. Or something like that. I'll be 75 years old, close to it, by the time he gets out of jail. Don't tell him where. If I'm not dead from the coronavirus by then, or something else. I'm no spring chicken. It's just a countdown until the day I take a dirt nap. So, we all, the minute we're born, we count the number of days before we die. Because we're only here for a short period of time. Anywhere from 1 day to 100 years. In rare cases, over 100 years. But our time is limited here. And we really shouldn't be wasting it on conspiracy theories and people like Phil McConnell. But that's the way things are. That seems to be our lot in life, is to get involved in all this nonsense. Some of us anyway. The rest of us live completely normal lives. A lot of us, the only thing we do on the internet, other than talk to our loved ones, is watch car crashes in Russia, people doing crazy things, cats chasing laser beams, dogs doing silly things, and just enjoying our day-to-day life experiences when we're not working or coming up with some way to make a living. So, but that's the internet. That's life. So if anything else happens later today, you'll see me on Twitter. And over the next few days, we'll discuss Phil McConnell's conditions of probation, if and when he gets out of jail, all the little things that happen between now and Friday. And Friday and Saturday, we're going to do the murdathons. And we will go over once again, in detail, what happened in court last Friday. So until I see all you folks later, you all have a good day. God bless you all. This is William K. Murtaugh, Mert Witness 1. Have a good one.